Hey guys, welcome to Horns and Hooves. We're so excited you're with us again. We do have a special guest on. His name is Randy Lenz. He is with Purina. He's going to teach us a little bit about how important mineral is and the lick tubs and all that, right?
Yeah, just basically general nutrition and health are the key thing to animals.
Well, I think we have a lot of people that don't understand, they see these cute cows or calves or whatever because Highlands are adorable or any of the minis. Actually, any cattle, it really doesn't matter what they are, but they see them, they like them, they love them. They're thinking, I'm going to bring this home, but I don't know that they always understand what's behind the feeding and the nutrition and that type of thing. So I'm going to let you tell us a little bit from the beginning, like when you get
Yeah.
that, maybe even before you get that cow or calf home, what you should have ready.
Sure. Well, it's just like any animal. Highlands are the breed. They're a smaller frame animal. They still have a ruminant. They still have 4 compartments, all very important. Each one has to work. The health is critical, so we all got to feed. It's a beef animal, and we still got to feed accordingly. And it all starts at a very young age. And prior to buying that calf, it's always kind of cool to know where that animal was raised at, what the mother was like, where it got raised up in the hills or in any grass, a little bit of history there. You're always, when you buy a calf, you're blessed for how it got born. So did that calf get the proper colostrum and how healthy it's going to be through the rest of his life. So it's really important to know all that stuff. And if not, just ask your provider, your seed stock owner, kind of nutrition. Today, anymore with this breed, that's a really fast growing breed. It seems like a lot of people want them. They think they're cute right now. We'll see how, and some of them are very profitable. We'll see how that all works down the road. That's the key thing. And just like if you were to buy any other breed, you want to know a little bit of history on it. And once you get that done, and you brought it back home, it's a newbie to your family operation, there's a couple things that you need to probably consider to raising it right. The first thing is it a little heifer calf or a little steer calf, a little bull calf? Is it going on to the show? Does it go on to breeding purpose, or is it going on to a commercial side? Remember the 3 aspects that you need to go that direction. Even though they're small, we figure everything out on a percent and on a protein, on an analysis part. They just eat a little bit less, but they should gain appropriately to their body weight.
So, does it also make a difference, like maybe where they're located? We have listeners from all over the United States. We may even have
Right.
some from Canada and Australia. Does it make a difference, like we'll go with the US, like what part of the US that they're located in, on what the feed and minerals?
No, not really. It all depending where they're coming from and what condition they're going down to. And of course, you go down south and you go down to the heat down there, and then you got to take covers, get the sun off of them. And it's just like any other animal. If it's warm out there and goes through heat stress, it's not going to eat as much as the one up north, right? And so there's protections in each quadrant of the United States. Everyone's protected for the animals they bring in. And them little Highland little guys, gals, they should be probably spoiled. I would put them underneath the roof. I wouldn't put them out there and bless the winter, and just all depending on the winter. And animals love to graze. That's their natural habitat. And if you can provide that option there, and then also provide proper nutrition so they can actually ruminate like they want to do, their saliva, and the feeds their own system, and just have a natural be a calf. So basically, calves up north, I mean, they're going to be bred up there with a lot of hair, and then actually animals grow more hair, less hair, depending on through the winter, just like a horse or anything else. Highlands have a lot of hair also, but then they're going to put a blanket on. They're going to save themselves. So it kind of depending where you want to go on that whole deal, on where you want to keep comfortable. And then they'll be just fine down here in the Midwest where you want to go. They'll get cold, which is fine. They got a blanket. But all animals, Highlands, every breathing animal is, as soon as you get wet on them, they get cold, wet. That's where they come into their thermal, they lower their body temperature and they just won't perform like it is. And then you're looking for, could be future health issues on that end of it.
So when it comes to the heat down south, or when it gets to be summertime, is there anything special that you put? You have Purina lick tubs, correct?
We do, and that's just form of nutrition. So I guess we don't care what you feed, how you feed them, as long as it's a balanced nutrition. And they got to hit protein levels, certain energy levels, certain vitamins and minerals level. And it all depending on the rate of gain you want to get done on it. And lick tubs really come in handy. And lick tubs are only going to lick probably 1/2 to 3/4 pound, if that, on them little guys. And basically your forage on the other end is, if you're going to rely on forage, it has to be somewhat higher level of your total digestible nutrients, or TDN, we call it hay stuffs. The protein has to be adequate, and it also has to be palatable. If they eat they eat a majority of that along with their tub and a combination on it, that could be a good maintenance issue program to sustain and let them grow in a moderate way. Now, if you take your little steer calves, bull calves, you want to grow them and you want to put more performance in them, something like that, you're going to have to feed a little additional energy to them. And whatever feedstuffs you may have, you mean oat, barley, corn, whatever provide energy on, you get with your nutrition program, just like anything else. You supplement that along with your extra hay, along with your vitamins and minerals the tub provide, and then you'll get your proper performance. Steers grow better than heifers, replacement heifers. So you don't want a lot of fat on them. You want to hold the gain back a little bit, but your nutrient profile needs to be adequate, okay? The mothers, they go through the gestations and they go through the lactations. Each stage has a little different requirement on the energy part of it, because usually at a calf in utero will gain 2/3 of its weight in the last trimester. Okay, so the first trimester, second trimester, that little baby's just growing, forming eyes, forming the wings, forming their developing. It takes littler maintenance from mom. Now, when the embryo gets bigger in that last quarter, then mom has to eat for herself, has to eat for the one inside, and then also there might be one on the side too, and you never know in the situation. So you're feeding for 3, and then mother's going to need some energy. And if that energy is not there, then you can really tell it's going to fall off condition. And so the way you condition any animal, any Highland there, is look at the back and look at their tail head. If it's a little bit indented in, that's where the fat usually lays right there. If that's dented in, that means that's the first sign of a little bit less nutrition. You check their brisket, and then also you check the ribs on the side. So the Highlands are and any breed with a lot of animals are going to fool you because their ribs are not extinct. That's where you use your little hand and put it on the side of it. And if you can feel ribs, you want to fill that up. You just want a really smooth side of it. You be careful not to get too much fat in there, because that's not real good for a female either. So there's a proper way of doing it. Environment, feedstuffs, temperature.
Why is that not good for a female? Can you share a little bit more on that?
Because you don't want too much fat in the utero. I mean, it is so breed, right? And they get lazy, just won't breed, and they'll have complications. That's just on every breed. We don't want to bring fat. The thing about putting too much fat on, you're wasting feed. You got to know where your animal is, and you got to separate where you want to go with each of your animals, your bulls, steers, heifers, and cows, and that's why you do separate programs. We can do one feeding program, but we can just offer different components or different ingredients to that animal for this proper maintenance. That's a proper way of doing things. That's how professionals do it, and the health of the animal will return you back the best performance you may give. We don't want to waste feed. Feed's expensive, right?
It is.
And even if you raise it or not, it's valuable. But then also the other thing is, if you really want to know what you're after, take your analysis and take in your feed store, or let the feed store come out there to get an analysis of it, and we'll run a protein, energy, vitamins, and minerals on it as your base. Then we'll just go ahead and figure out where we need it in between to get the job done.
Awesome.
And then if it stays cold, they're going to eat more, right? If it stays wet, they're going to eat way more, and then go from there. So there's a way to do that. On a slick animal, it's pretty nice to see the sides. The tail head is proper. On a Highland, you might have to do the tail head is visible. You might have to take your hand along the side and rub that nice hair.
So we get this cute little calf home, or we get a couple pairs, or bring home a trailer load, whatever. What should they do to start out? They should probably go talk to their feed.
Yeah, depending how long it's weaned. Are you talking about after the milk stage and weaned off milk? Okay, and so the transition.
Yep, some of them are just weaned.
Okay, very good. And so basically, when you bring a new guy home or a new person home, they're very young. Their rumens are very undeveloped. If they're not hay in there, their rumens aren't working real effectively. It's like a simple stomach, like a human, a pig, whatever. As soon as they start eating hay, it gets a little bit bigger. The rumen bugs and all the 4 compartments in the rumen start working adequately, and then that's where we start feeding them. So when you come home off milk, and depending how far they're off milk, and hopefully the place they had them at home off milk, and they feed a really good starter feed, like a Purina calf startina, or a very high palatable feed, molasses, 18-20% protein, very palatable. You keep that there, and fresh water. Fresh water is so important, and you change that 3-4 times a day, however it is. Just do that. If they're not drinking, they will not eat. Guaranteed. You got to keep the water there, and you can keep them in a small area where it can find and get them a good feed. If they're not eating feed, you need to go find a feed that they're eating. That's why we bring out our good, powerful feeds and the most palatable feed. Get them going on that direction. And then go ahead and eat them about maybe up to 1% body weight type of a program there. And free choice hay, let them keep a little hay, and mostly confined. And most of the time, you'll keep them confined in there for the first month or so for the environment, the home, the predators, and everything else is out there, and get them the home. And I'm sure they get petted by youngsters and kids and everything else, and make pets out of them, right? And then often, a lot of times, the Highlands, they'll go on to a grass pasture type of an environment. And then you can just turn them out, let them graze, and let them walk, and go everything else. And then at home, bring them in, and then you'll feed them, spoil them, whatever you need to do. And so that's the most important thing. When they get bigger, what we can do, and depending where they go and how big the farm is, whatever, we can start using some of your own ingredients, your own corn and your own hay and stuff like that to feed them. And you don't have to feed this complete feed that we would make. But it's so important to feed this complete feed because it's low with the vitamins and minerals. We have the energy, roughage, fiber levels at a certain way that properly builds the rumen flora, or the rumen bacteria, for a proper growth. You got one time a chance to do this. And if the chance is you build it up front very well, the animal will take care of itself the rest of the life. If we screw things up at an early age, it'll be screwed up 2, 3, 4, 5 months down the road, all the way through. We got to develop it. Okay, so eventually the starting program is the most important part of this whole life, and then make sure we're doing fine there. And then from there on out, you can graze and do some different things that you want to do with it. But you got to develop the rumen right, because we are feeding the rumen. I know the Highland calf is good. It's nice looking. We're feeding that big organ inside, and it's a bunch of bacteria, a bunch of protozoa, a whole lot of stuff we're feeding bugs on. And the animal rumen, it's the only animal that can take hay and digest it, forage and hay and forage, grain, distillers, whatever it may be. It's the only animal out there. Pigs can't digest hay. Humans can't digest hay. Beef animals can. And the Highlands is part of that whole breed.
So do you recommend starting with salt mineral lick tubs right away?
Sure. A salt's good. And your starter feed, all the salt, all the mineral, all the protein, as everything else in there, all contained. All you got to do is free choice water and middle of free choice hay over the prairie hay, make them chew on the other side, okay? And get that developed. Then you go older and you're not wanting to feed a complete feed all the rest of his life. For the first month or 2 months to get him started, you're going to make your own feed up. Then you're going to probably come in there and develop a ration, and you're going to feed a little bit of grain, a little bit of corn, right? And then you want to have a supplement in there that has the vitamins and minerals in there with your mineral package in there at the recommended rate. You talk to your feed dealership, and there's all different types of proteins in there. It all depending on the protein stuff or the hay forage you offer at home. If your hay at home doesn't carry very much protein, low value, whatever, we have higher supplements that we can feed along with the grain or whatever to bring the amount of protein and vitamins and minerals into that ration. If you have a high protein source at home, it won't take very much protein from Purina or any other supplier. We can feed lower protein and we can feed it. It's all about the balancing the diet. And so you got to remember, these Highlands and any beef animal is going to eat probably at least 80 to 90% of your own diet that you have at home. That's how you be cost effective on it.
Do you have any idea what it takes, like dollar wise, what you can expect for, say, any cow? Because I really think we run our commercials with our Highlands and we feed them the same. But per day, what is the average?
Well, I'm going to do a deal. So every state and every university publishes it right now on a major brood cow weighing that 13, 14 pounds. It's going to take between $1,300 to $1,500 to run a cow and a calf. About 75 to 8% of that's feed. Okay. So now let's take that cost up. That's the cost. Now.
And that's in how much time?
That's in a year.
Okay.
Okay. That's the pasture cost, labor, and everything else not breed up. That's just average. Your Highlands are going to eat probably about 40 to 50% less than that, right? from feed costs, right? There's just going to be less of it, depending on your night pressure. So you can just take that number all the way down.
If they're mini, right?
Yeah, and that's all depending on it. I've seen they're breeding them all up. They're coming different sizes, shapes, and different things. And every animal's like a human too, because it has a different maintenance program. Some eat lots, some don't. It's just the nature of the breed and of any animal. So feed costs is your ingredients is going to be your lion's share of all your costs. It will be, but if you take care of it right, and the whole thing is you feed them right, hopefully the health side of it will be a whole lot less too. If you screw up on your feed side, nutrition side, your health bill is going to be higher. Okay, so you got your choice right there. But feed is the highest price. That's why you want to feed the best quality, better quality feeds, eat less of it. You get more out of it. So feed nutrition is a better cost. And so basically what we do here at Jason Taylor's place up here is that they have their group and they run them out. And then we have them on our lick tubs. We got a high protein, high fat lick tubs out there. And they take advantage of the grass that they're growing, right? We have to feed them. They take advantage of that. So they put a tub out there. So that tub will bring them extra little bit of vitamins and minerals. And actually, we're spiking the vitamins and minerals to the rumen, right? We're creating more rumen bugs, protozoa. Minerals and vitamins and minerals create more bugs. The more bugs they have, the more they go out there and eat that grass that they're grazing, therefore getting more out of the grass at home. And that's with every breed and any breed. So we do that here. And then during the summertime, they might feed a little bit lower energy tub. They might not need the fat, depending on the position and the condition stage they're in. And then it goes accordingly. During the wintertime last year up here, when snow was flying a little bit and the grass was a little bit dormant, whatever, we just need a little more energy on it. We just want to have that look. So we put a little bit more fat in the tub. So if you want to have a hair coat shiny and the condition is good, you feed a little bit more energy. And then you make sure that the mineral package is good. Copper has a lot to do. Copper, zinc, copper, all that stuff has to do with the health, look, feet, everything else there. That's an elevated mineral package. And so make sure, but that starts at a young age. And then your grass throughout the year, when your grass is springtime, it has a lot of leaves in it, right? We got a lot of leaves in it. There's a lot of phosphorus. There's more phosphorus in it. There's more vitamins and minerals. There's more protein in it, right? So they can survive there. They eat a little bit less protein. We don't need much protein, but we need some mineral in there. And then as that grass grows through that transitional stage, it loses leaves, goes more stems, you lose less protein, right? And that's where vitamins and minerals go down. That's where you have to start supplementing a little bit of more protein and a little bit more minerals. Animals are resilient. Beef animals are resilient. And everyone knows, and each animal kind of knows how to eat it's on its own, because everyone has a different maintenance level. Some cows and some calves might eat a little bit more because they need more. They'll adjust to themselves, and they'll adjust to their own side of it, to whatever their genetic makeup is.
Another tub that I want to talk about is the stress tub,
Yep.
right? So we put a stress tub out,
Yep.
a Purina stress tub out with our calves when we wean them, and I noticed a huge difference. It
Yep.
truly helps them
Yeah.
balance everything and get going
Yeah.
really good. If
Yeah.
you want to talk about that
Yeah,
one too.
the stress tubs is an awesome one. We use it for fresh weaned calves. These for Highlands, anything to start with. It has some yeast extract in it. It has a little bit of vitamin mineral package in it. We have even a little bit of B vitamins in there coming from some different things. We just readjusted that this year. We have some yeast extract in it. We have the chromiums extra in there. So it's specially made. It comes in a smaller tub if you want to, a 55-pound tub or a 225-pound tub, depending where you want to get done. They'll bring that in there to lick, enriched with a lot of copper, zinc, and a lot of the Zimpros, available for, and a lot of different things in that whole deal to stimulate that rumen. And what they'll do is they'll lick on that tub. When they lick on that tub, they're licking, they're bringing saliva in, right? When they bring more saliva in, you're making that rumen environment way healthier, and that stimulates water intake. And when they lick, they drink water. When they drink water, they eat dry feed.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a precursor. And if you're always bringing things in and out all the time in the pen, just leave the tub in there. But if you're bringing a group in, you want to wean them, just bring that tub in there the first 21 to 25 days. Let them, when it's gone and they're healthy, just move them on to the next step.
That's awesome. That's good to know. And then I do have another question. So many people you see, they mix the salt and mineral together. Is that a no-no, or is that okay?
It's totally up to you on your nutrition side. Salt, there's not a lot of nutrition value to it, but every animal needs salt. If you dilute too much salt into a mineral program, and they're just saying they're only going to eat 1 to 2 ounces a head a day, that means you diluted all of your vitamins and minerals out of the program, right? So you can put too much salt in there. So it all depending what mineral you buy. There are minerals out there today that don't have salt in them. They require you to mix salt in them. Okay. And then there are other minerals out there today that have the salt in them. And then that's a complete feed. So some people, they do it by accident. Some people will take salt and mix it with a mineral with salt. That means you're diluting down your copper, zinc, cobalt, and all your calcium, phosphorus. You're diluting it down. The animals aren't getting it. So be kind of careful, worry how much you want to put in there on it. Now, salt you can use as an ability to gain intake, to drink water, to make some things. Also, you can use salt as a way to limit how you want to do intakes. So it all going accordingly. It all depending on your nutrition plan and your parts. And we're talking about all over the United States here. Everyone has a different mineral system. Just find out what you want to do and where you want to go. Most feed dealers today, pruning dealers today, they're all educated. They know exactly how to feed them. We train them. They go to all of our schools. And as a district person here, we teach all of our dealers for all these incidents. So it's a good resources to go. And then they can map out a plan on each weight stage, each month, how to make that thing work. So basically what we need to know, we just need some information. We need to know where you want to go with them, what you want to do with them. Most of the Highlands do hit the show side. And we do have some show products over there that has everything in there. We're talking about elevated levels of all the vitamins and minerals so we can make that little baby, that small guy stand out. It's all by look, right? Judges like look and they like feel.
Yeah, we have some show Highlands.
So the Highlands now are starting, there's enough of them out there. They're starting to go to these big shows and they got their own class.
Yes.
And now if you got more of them out there, then they can break them out into birthdays. And so now you're competing against each other, and you're a small world, and you always kind of want to rib each other. You always want to beat out your counterpart. But the big thing is your group is so small, you want to support each other. And so basically it's all about look. It's all about parents. It's how about you spend time with your animal. But a lot of that, I always tell the kids, I said, when I do a lot of these teaches and stuff, a lot of it is all starts with basic nutrition. If nutrition's not right, calf won't work right. And the other thing about nutrition is you always want animals to go in the show ring. They want to have that dance appearance, this deal, no lead foot and stuff. And that's just you have to create the mineral package to keep the wheels first. You got to create the wheels, right? The hooves, the legs, and then they'll carry the body the rest of the way. If you have weak hooves and weak wheels, it won't carry it right. And judges like to always say is when you get the top 2 or 3, judge always comes around and wants to say one more time. I think what he's trying to do, or he or she's going to do, she's looking how well it travels and how it all works underneath the wheel. So it's just, I'm not a judge, whatever, and I've been around enough, but everyone has their own opinion, but that just determines where you want to go with nutrition.
Yeah, my granddaughter's 9 and she just showed her first Highland. She was registered Highland at our Custer County Fair. We're hoping to maybe get them to add a class for her.
They're starting to see that around the country. And then I'm working with some young couples. They want to bring them in and just use them as pets. And I don't know what they're going to do with them, but they want to breed them and maybe they want to sell them. But it's a really good breed. I'm not for sure. As far as the harvesting side, where are they going to go? The steers and stuff like that. We're pretty young in that age, and how it's all being done. They'll have a smaller ribeye. I mean, they're functional.
I have yet to try Highland. I need to. I want to.
I have. Yeah. It's good.
I have a hard time eating my pets, but everybody I have talked to they could have Angus and they say they prefer their Highland beef over that once you have that beef. So I'm anxious to try it. I just want to try somebody else's instead of my own.
Yeah, it's just like anything else. I mean, every animal marbles. It's like an Angus. Angus marbles well. Then you got another breed to put a little bit more frame on it. There's a little bit of breed there. And then you got other breeds that has more yield grades. And it's just a whole deal. And I'm sure as we get down the line with the Highlands, they'll have a lot of heterosis going on to offer advantage to components in every part of that whole animal, and bring the value of it back out. That's just how it works.
We could probably be on here for hours talking, honestly, feed and nutrition.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do, we've got 30 minutes or close to, or 20, 30 minutes under our belt. I think I might just open it. If people have questions, they can send us an email. Maybe we can have you on again next time you're up there. And
sure.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Right, yeah.
Or you live down. Yeah. I'm like, you don't have to be up there.
I'm all over the state. Yeah.
It sounds like you are. So if people have questions, maybe we can answer them on on another episode.
Well, I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I'm just one person, and there's a ton of knowledgeable people out there that understands nutrition just as well, better, good, and for the environment. So just hook up with someone. The other thing about raising cattle, any breed, whatever, and I always tell the kids, we teach a lot FFA and a lot of stuff like that. Take your camera, take a picture of that animal at every stage when they're young, and then 30 days later, pull it back up, and you'll see the progress. I'll guarantee you this: if you don't take the picture and you feed it every day and you live with it every day, you will not see the things that onsiders will see. That's just the rule of thumb. Picture it and go from there, and then look at it, show it to your friends, show it to your CSOC guy. How does it compare? How does it look? Do I need more top line? Because we have some supplements on the show line that'll build top line. Supplements that are to build the fill, front, bottom, top, bottom. And then they got other supplements that will actually make them things really, really shiny and hair coat with a lot of fat in there. One thing we don't want to do on any animal, whatever, in the show industry is bury a lot of corn. First mistake. You feed too much corn, first thing you're going to do, you're going to burn the hair. That's a no-no, right? And when you burn that, when you have starch in there, you lower the rumen pH on it, and that's a negative effect on the feet. And you won't have the good feet there too. There's a little bit of messing around you can do. And then once you get going, great. And I'm going to tell you this, that every animal, every one you buy, every year one you produce has a different maintenance, has a different deal. You can't always do what you always been doing because they're all different. Because the genetic progress with the Highlands or any breed is increasing all the way, all the time. And they're improving health, they're improving genetics, and they're putting a lot of heterosis in there. And they're finding out what people actually want and like. Because that's where the money's at, right?
I can say from experience, like when you put us onto the Purina and we started working with Randy, like it was great. Like I saw a difference. Like my Highlands coats are beautiful. We've been consistent running that Purina out there, switching out different tubs for what type of season we're in. I mean, my calves are coming out with great hair. Moms are keeping that great hair all year. Like, they look really good. And that shine you're talking about, yeah, you see it. I can show you pictures from before we started to when we put them out there. And there's a difference. It's a real deal.
So you mentioned corn burning hair. I just want to go into this because I was thinking we feed silage. Is that different? I mean, I don't know. My husband probably knows.
Not really. There's corn and corn silage, and then there's the amount of nutritionists will tell you how much fat or how much structural carbohydrates in it. You know what corn offers, and there's a level of corn that we put in to make it work. Now, commercial wise, we want to push it because we want to go for performance. Okay, whole different question. Now on the show side, different things, that's a whole different deal. So we got show animals, we got commercial animals, two different deals, and they're two different models to make up.
Or if we're just trying to get more hair on our Highlands and their baby.
Well, the hair is manageable. Yep. Comb it. Put water on it. As you look at me, I don't have any hair. But anyways, you got to manage it, got to work with it, and you got to tame it. But the hair is a big thing anymore. A lot of stuff, and that means it's healthy, and nutrition-wise you can do it, and otherwise you can't. And the other thing, too, is animal husbandry is so important. When you feed a beef animal has a time clock, right? I always teach the kids, I says, this animal looks wonderful, but I don't want you to look at that animal. I want you to feed that rumen, that big organ. And so every day, the animal gets hungry, right? He's expected to eat. And then what happens if you wait too long or not enough, that pH, that rumen environment changes. And then also we lose some bugs that's going through there. And then we feed it. And then there's oftentimes he'll overeat. And if he overeats or whatever, and he takes too much in it, guess what happened? You got to mess you back in. You can tell everything by the stools. If you're consistent, eat right, and be with it all the time, you're going to have a more healthier animal. And so and you do that over time after time, that's going to take a big effect on your animal also. So animal husbandry is good. If you're going to feed them at 8 o'clock in the morning every morning, feed it within an hour if you can of that time, and feed it the same thing all the time. Animals love consistency. Be consistent with it. Get yourself a scale. We have scales, and we tuck your dealer or Purina dealer. We got a hand scale there if you're feeding it. Feed the same amount. Weigh it out. If it says you only want to feed 2-3 pounds of this, feed 2-3 pounds of it. And then every month as it gets bigger, just take that percentage and go bigger with it. So there's a lot of things you need to do at home, just like anything else.
My animals are so spoiled. They whine, he feeds them.
Yeah.
They're on grass, he's still feeding them. They're
that's
kinda,
part of the name.
they're
Yeah,
kind of
it's just part of
spoiled.
it, you know.
Anyway, well, we appreciate you. And if anybody has any questions, go ahead and email us at hornsandhoofspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll try to get some questions answered for you if you've got. So awesome. Thank you so much. And we have Taylor on,
Yeah,
but
thank
we
you.
couldn't get her headphones to work. So she has been sitting here and just kind of listening and trying to listen to both sides of it. I have my phone on over here so she can kind of hear.
Yeah.
But
It worked.
we
It
will
worked.
see you again. We have another exciting guest coming on our next episode. So we're going to leave it a surprise, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.